Jimmy, your game was too bold. Took their stuff, now it's a mess. Now you got some lawsuits to address. He's flexing, stressing, thinking he's on top of the scene. But those stolen panties are kinda rogue, if you know what I mean. Woo! You thought you could hide it, but now it's all clear. Stole some briefs, broke some bones, now it's time to get owned. Going down, it's your time to pay. Jimmy, you're in the hot seat today. Hey, girls down, where's my stuff? Boys saying that's enough. Jimmy, it's getting rough. Is this lawsuit's calling your bluff? Can't hide, no, can't fake it. Your scandals, we won't take it. It's getting real scuzzy, can't shake it. Now the world's ready to break it. Come on, Jimmy, was it worth it? Come on, Jimmy, was it worth it?
A lot of people asked why I didn't do a Mr. Beast video until now. There's a lot of drama earlier this year going on with his former co-star Chris and all this other jazz going on as Lunchables buy, and then that weird scandal with those people that accused him of stealing their money. And lo and behold, here we are with the actual legal backdrop now, the actual legal beagle breakdown of what's going on. Mr. Beast and Amazon are being sued by contestants on his upcoming Beast Games series for failure to prevent sexual harassment, failure to pay overtime and minimum wage, and no meal and rest breaks provided to participants. That's right. Several contestants ended up hospitalized. Others reported suffering physical and mental complications while being subjected to chronic mistreatment, degradation, and for female contestants, hostile work conditions. Now, it could get even weirder than that because now we find out just back on September 11th, just a few days ago, one of the Mr. Beast crew members was allegedly hospitalized and collapsed, had a tower, one of those Jenga towers, giant Jenga towers fall on him. Or it could have been the milk crate challenge. That's been going well. I'm sure nobody got hurt doing that kind of stuff. But intermingled with all the violence, there is a strange sexual twinge to a lot of what's going on in the backdrop as well. I'm sure you heard about the Discord allegations that went on with Chris and apparently Mr. Beast as well, and a bunch of younger people in a Discord. However, what kind of gets forgotten in a lot of this, and it's referenced in that opening song, you have here Rosanna Pansino, right? Pansino, I think I've said that right. Rosanna Pansino, could be Rosanna, I'm not sure. I'm not a fan, I don't hate her, but I'm not a fan. And so she was explaining way back in August that Jimmy's production team took every contestant's underwear and medicine from them for some weird reason. They were told they would be given back each night to change, but were not given those back, okay? Multiple female contestants messaged me saying that the Beast Games still has their underwear. All right, so ask yourself, all right, you've got people being hospitalized, you've got people basically saying that they've been mistreated, abused, and otherwise by this. And now you have someone saying that multiple women have reported losing their underwear while participating in this YouTube show turned Amazon show, okay? But it gets worse. What if I told you that Mr. Beast was also driving his contestants to self-delete? That's right. We have Mr. Beast contestant here. She claims, this is Jenna, and she's claiming what happened to her on here. Again, this could be a YouTuber that's a popular person. I just don't get into her sphere, so I don't know who this is. If this is someone you know, please let me know down in the comments what her story is leading up to this. We're only going to listen to a little bit of it because she starts getting into conversation about self-deletion. I don't think YouTube likes that too much, so we're going to stop just short of when she starts that. But what she has to say leading up to it is
So today is first morning, I guess it's afternoon now, that I've experienced being eliminated from the new Mr. Beast game challenge. They eliminated 400 people the first day. Those 400 people, the majority of them were forced by the other team members to be on the specific team they were. Some were just about physically assaulted to be put onto one team, which ended up making it the weakest team.
All right, now you see this a lot, right? You'll find like the Survivor show, those other contestant style shows like Big Brother. When teams are made up, there will be a team of people that are very capable and very type A personality, and then there'll be a group of people who are not so confrontational. And now what we're hearing from Janae here, I think it's Janae, it could be Janae, I'm not sure if it's the Forrest Gump inflection. I'm not making fun of her, I just don't know how to pronounce her name here. So anyway, the situation she's explaining is much like how we see this stuff on reality television. Mr. Beast hasn't missed a beat, if you will. And now he's on his way to doing the same thing that they do and filing in all the people who are easy targets into the easy target camp.
Since it was a lot of elderly people, petite women, and people that just, they weren't willing to take on 6 guys that were surrounding them trying to take their vest so that they can actually be on that. Of the 400 people that left, the majority of them, I'd say at least half, are all extremely depressed.
Yeah, a lot of what happens on the game show is they try to get you jazzed up, right? They try to get you jazzed up. So sometimes it's confrontational. There's a lot of energy going on. There's a lot of people that sometimes get physically confrontational in order to jazz up the contestants. Wipeout has a non-disclaimer sort of sign off. If I get hurt jumping around on these giant red balls, it's my fault kind of thing. And Mr. Beast likely has the same situation going on where you can't just come out and say yeah, I was shoved down in the mud and people laughed and made fun of me in order to make sure that I was properly sad and gloomy and beat up looking when the camera came back to me, And we hear this all the time about reality shows where it's not really reality, it's just what the producers on set want to make happen, and then they stimulate a scene to happen in their otherwise true-to-life environment. And this is what we're hearing from Janae here.
I don't know if I can say extremely, but I definitely know that they are depressed. As far as I've heard from so many people that I've talked to personally, as well as people that I've spoken to that are employed by other organizations that are around the games right now, a lot of people have come up and expressed that they are really not doing okay. It was so much work and exhausting to just get to that point to even be in the games, and then to be kicked out, and you kind of get ostracized. The staff, they become really cold towards you once you're actually kicked out. Mr. Beast does not talk to everybody.
Yeah, what do you know? What a surprise. There's 400 contestants just kicked out one day, and he doesn't go around shake everybody's hand. I can't blame him on that one, okay? I can't blame him on that one. This is for television, so they do mass cast people. What I can't forgive is when the staff members who are in charge of aggregating and perhaps aggravating those mass castings, right? When they are merciless. When someone is kicked off of the show, they should be greeted by the staff that says, "Hey, thanks for your participation. Can we get you some water? Do you just sit down for a minute? You want a warm blanket, a cold towel, something we can get you to make you feel a little comfortable after that? It looked a little rough when you went bouncing off of that obstacle like a human speedball." But apparently, according to Janae here, it's not how it goes. That when you're kicked off the Mr. Beast show, you stop existing as far as the staff is concerned. You could die right there on the field, and unless you tripped up somebody, they wouldn't care.
All his fans or anything, and there's so many different things. I'll keep giving updates on this, but Mr. Beast is a monster, and the games that he does are really cruel and sick.
What do you know? Games that exploit people's physical differences and their pain tolerance and their tolerance for endurance aren't that cool to the people playing them. You remember X Factor, you remember Buried Alive. There were so many other reality shows that were just game shows that just tested people's tolerance to weird and unusual and potentially deadly things. I remember one where they were pulling people out of a crowd, as if they aren't plants, but pulling people out of a crowd, and they were putting them up on a bungee jumping tower. and having them bungee jump down to the pavement that they had just been standing on, you know, and they purposefully like hook a pumpkin up and let it go splat down on the ground before asking for contestants to volunteer. You remember that? It was like mid 2000s. Scared the crap out of me because I was convinced they were purposely going to like do something to get ratings. But oh well. Speaking of getting ratings,
they actually had called a one kind staff member of the only three kind staff members that I came across that were like really concerned about the well-being of all the people that were so distraught, had actually come to me and asked me if I was okay, and I told them I wasn't. I told them that I wanted to die, and one of them had called a psychologist to come on set and talk to me. And that psychologist had even informed me shows like Mr. Beast, and I'm assuming probably similar type game shows, they kind of destroy the contestants. It is extremely psychologically damaging, and I really think that it should end.
All right, now she immediately goes on to start explaining that she had a plan to sleep in the nether. You know, and again, I have to be careful with how I word things because YouTube is very sensitive now. And perhaps this is why the Beast Games went leapfrogging all the way over to Amazon to escape such censorship. I'm not sure how Jeff Bezos feels about people being driven to self-harm, but I'm not a fan of it. And meanwhile, there's memes cooking all over the place about this. It's not over, by the way. It's just getting started. And so we have Ash here, and Must Be Ash, at Must Be Ash. And he posts this. He says, watch the game, playing the game, winning the game, suing the game. And we'll go on. We'll take a look more at this. Now, we have this previously. This is someone speaking about, this is letting everybody know about Rosanna Pansino's situation. But they say, Mr. Beast allegedly is a panty thief. Mr. Beast did not provide them with panties, okay? And so this situation is public, right? It's spreading out. It wasn't just Rosanna making this. It was a bunch of people that spread it around and were speaking about what had happened here. So we're not dealing with an isolated incident of some jilted girlfriend, right? So we don't have Janae out here explaining that it's abuse from the staff members as well as the Beast organization. But you're also dealing with now Rosanna confirming that beyond the violence and exploitation of people's weaknesses and, you know, their endurance level, you also have people that are running around stealing underwear, right? And so I'm just bringing this up again to compound what we had spoken about, because people put all this together, right? They compound all of this into a regular, like, sandwich of information. And it just keeps getting thicker and thicker and thicker here with all the stuff going on. And, you know, you see people out there and they're taking their aggravation out, their aggression out on what they can get a hold of. And Mr. Beast Feastables here, his chocolate brand, and folks at Dollar General are just having a blast. I think that's Dollar General. It could be Walmart. I'm not sure. Somewhere with gray shelves. They're not having the Beastables anymore. They're not having the Beastables. So thankfully, Mr. Beast, though, he's very concerned about his Lunchables. Lunchly. Totally not Lunchables. He and Logan Paul got neck deep in this, and, you know, he says they're going to give the contestants a Lunchly for all their pain and suffering. That's what Styx here has to say. And I appreciated this because it led me into this post here that I had missed completely, all right? So you have Drama Alert, good old Keemstar, just a couple of days ago on the 16th saying, YouTubers are not happy with Mr. Beast, KSI, and Logan Paul's new product. So you have Dan TM, and he's saying, what happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust people who are selling it to them. Do better. All right, Dan, probably could have left that off. Oh well. Then you've got Jojo Josiah here saying they always promote it like it's healthy, you know? So you got Squiddy in the quote tweet here, and he says, why not teach kids healthy eating habits? They're comparing their product to Lunchables, which in itself is highly processed crap. None of them are passionate about health toward fans, only their wallets. So disappointing. And finally, down here in the screenshot, you've got Plain Rock 124. He gotcha. It was 123, but now it's 124. And he says, scammers plus child labor equals childhood obesity. Maybe bullying too. Maybe that's a coefficient, right? That's an extra variable you get down into the long division with, right? You might be asking yourself, though, What is a lunchly? Okay, so first and foremost, lunchly is meant to be a Lunchable. So it has processed meat, crackerty doodads, kind of fake pizza stuff you can make up. But most importantly is the Prime energy drink, right? That's part of the lunchly package. So you get a Capri Sun with Lunchables. Who remember that? It had a bunch of weird sugar rot mold in the middle of it. Remember that? You just be drinking your Capri Sun, and all of a sudden a sugar squid just comes up into your face. It's really neat. Well, anyway, you've got Prime here, and this is a hydration drink, much in the same way a Monster is a hydration drink, you know? And so this comes included with every lunchly, all right? Now, this is a product that Mr. Beast promotes to adults, okay? Now, here's the Google breakdown on what this is, and it says Prime energy drinks contain excessive amounts, of caffeine and should absolutely be avoided in children. One 12-ounce bottle of Prime Energy has 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is the equivalent of about the equivalent of about 2 to 3 cups of coffee. Do children need 200 milligrams of caffeine today? Or is it really that difficult in school these days? I don't think so. I really don't. Unless they're using like the bioelectricity from the Matrix to recharge their little tablets they have in class now that teaches them instead of the teachers. I don't think that's necessary, right? I don't know about you. Let me know down below if you've made it this far in the video if you think Prime Energy is good for kids. Maybe it's like Brondo from Idiocracy, right? It's like Brondo. You just dump it on the plants. Plants love Brondo, right? We'll put it in the water fountains at school, right? So the kids go in to get a drink, they get a mouthful of Prime, right? Take all the Aquafina bottles out of the vending machines and replace it with Prime, yeah? Get rid of the milk, put Prime in there. It's Prime everywhere. Prime public school juice. It's got electrolytes. Remember that? It's coming. You thought it was just a comedy movie, right? You thought it was just like funny old, oh, the future's going to be full of dumb people. And then you said, oh no, I'm going to live long enough to see that happen. Yeah, you're going to live long enough to see that happen. Carl's Jr. is going to be a bank. Are you ready for that? I'm not ready for the first bank of Carl's Jr. But anyway, back to Mr. Beast. Maybe it'll be the bank of Mr. Beast. Who knows? But we do want to remind you that Mr. Beast did come out and say, in reply to Drama Alert here, about what was going on with his thing here. He says, our Lunchables sells hundreds of millions of units and countless people eat it. Our goal is to give people a better for you alternative to it. Whatever. Our turkey meal, for example, is 80 less calories and 60% less sugar, more electrolytes. We use real cheese. They use cheese product. They can't call it cheese. Higher quality meat, etc. Obviously, eating fresh chicken and broccoli is healthier if someone is going to eat a pre-made meal like this, which millions of people do through Lunchables. Then I think giving them a higher quality version at roughly the same price is a net good, in my opinion, and why we launched Lunchly. Also, as we get economies of scale and can get things cheaper, we will only be improving the product more and more. So that's what he had to say. Now that you know that Lunchlies have Prime Energy drink in them and they are not really on a better level than Lunchables, okay? Now the thing is that less calories in children's meals is not a good idea. The wrong calories is where we're at. There's too much sugar, there's too much corn, syrup, starch, dust, whatever you want to call it, whatever is in there. There's not enough actual fresh foods that anybody is consuming. You know, you hear a lot of politicians talk about food deserts, but it's not exactly that extreme, but you end up promoting the wrong idea when you say your child has to have less calories. It's not so much that the kid's taking in the wrong amount of calories. They got to grow up. There's a lot of calorie burning and making your bones grow. I don't know if you know that or not. You can't exactly just skimp on it, right? You can't skip breakfast as a kid. You're going to have problems. So you go cutting down the calorie intake of a kid, that's bad. What you need to do is you need to start cutting down the sugar calories, the carbohydrate-based calories, and increasing fruit and vegetable intake, as well as in my opinion, chicken. Red meat's a little iffy these days because they like to shoot cows full of stuff. But it's not that they don't do it with chicken either, but you got a better chance of picking up like free-range chicken than you do free-range beef. It's one of those things, right? I know most people live in cities, so you guys don't have access to like giant farms that do their own butchering. But keep in mind that Mr. Beast knows all of this. He's aware of every last fact of all of this. He's briefed on it all before he ever agreed to be part of Lunchly. All of this calorie information, all of this science was made available to him, so he knew what to get around. A lot of people promoting cigarettes, for instance, way back in the day, were told about all the harmful effects involving it. Not because of legal reasons, but because they needed to steer around questions about those harmful effects. It's one of those things. You'll find the Marlboro Man wasn't told, but a lot of people, as they came up, like lobbyists and other people who spoke on behalf of big tobacco, were briefed on the dangers of it. That way they could skirt around all the questions about it and make up excuses. It's the same thing that happens when you're selling processed food matter to children. You're made aware of all the pitfalls in it, so that way you avoid them when you're asked stupid questions about them and you make a 2-paragraph excuse for it. While not really explaining yourself either. That's the other part. But we do have good news. We do have good news. After getting rid of Ava, right? Because he made this statement, and I'm not going to bother with it because it's just, I have a feeling I will lose IQ points more than I have. I'm already screwing up. See? I'm already screwing up English, having sat through a lot of this brain rot content that he makes. So basically the gist of this post is that I can't hang out with Ava because other people make too much noise about it, and there's going to be people that look into this person, and I want to make sure that I'm publicly distanced from that. That's the gist of this post, okay? Saved you the click, I guess. But it's good news. He's hanging out with Chris Hemsworth now. Now they're buddies. They're just... This was totally not paid for. There was not some effort and an extensive amount of scheduling, an extensive amount of negotiating, an extensive amount of contract signing to make these things happen right here. This 5-minute and 43-minute video. I guarantee you, right? Only 4.5K views in an hour. Wow, Chris. I don't know, man. Maybe you're starting to slip. How to grow your hair out again like Thor, right? Do that Thor look again. I think that's the problem, man. You're too urban now. You look too much like that in what is that? Insurgent movie? What is that? Extraction. You look too much like Extraction guy now. You don't look enough like Thor. That's the problem is. You should have put like Thor and Mr. Beast in the thumbnail. You remember Mr. Beast is obsessed with his thumbnails. So, oh well. But hey, you know, we've got some good news about him, right? He's hanging out with Chris Hemsworth. It's all over with, right, guys? It's all over with. Mr. Beast will surely get out of these allegations in no time whatsoever. I don't think so. That's sarcasm. But in all honesty, I really hope if you get an invitation to involve yourself with any of these games, don't, okay? If you're looking for entertainment where they're kind of open and honest about how terrible an experience it is, watch Japanese game shows. They don't cut between the embarrassing moments. They don't cut between the moments where people have like this completely like soul-drained, heartbroken look on their face. They zoom right in on that. All right, so if it's your thing to watch these game shows uncut, there's Japanese game shows that'll give you every manner of weird thing you can do with a helmet on television. All right, weird thing on television. I'm stressing that part, on television. All right? There's greased staircases, okay? There's pitfall elevators. There's literal rooms that have the floor drop out from underneath you and you have to grab onto things that will then disappear if you answer questions wrong and you will plummet to your doom. Okay? So, again, Japanese game shows, a little more hardcore, but they're open and honest about it, not like this guy over here who's just like, yeah, no, it's up and up. I'm the family man. Make sure your kids buy my stuff that doesn't make them grow. But anyway, guys, until the next one, good luck out there.